The topic of life beyond planet Earth has been long discussed amongst us Earthlings. How many alien species are there in the universe? And if they exist, how far away are they? These, along with hundreds of other questions, remain unsolved. But what do we know as of today? Let's explore the topic that has captured the attention of millions throughout the world. Hello, welcome to I'm Curious, a series on my channel where I feel curious about something, so I look into it and then relay all of the information I found to you in one nicely compiled video. This week I was curious about aliens. I have been curious about aliens for a while because there's just so much about the idea of them that is so intrinsically interesting and creepy. All reasons for which I will be diving into in this video. So let's just get right into it. There's no reason to waste any more time.
Could ancient tombs really have served another, more extraterrestrial purpose? Perhaps as portals to reunite the deceased with celestial beings.
Some of those creatures that we see depicted in reliefs and in carvings might have actually existed in the past.
The history of aliens is non-specific. We don't really know who theorized about the existence of aliens first, but a good place to start would be the philosopher Anaximander, who was from a place called Miletus at the time, if that's how you pronounce it, which is modern-day Turkey. He was the first to explore the idea of space and infinite time as well as infinite space. Anaximander's theory was the first to allow for the possibility of aliens to exist. I actually talk a little bit about him in my First I'm Curious video, which I will tag right there. So if you're interested in that, it is all about infinity, and you can go check that out after you watch this one if you want to. Another notable philosopher who contributed to the idea of alien existence was Democritus. He believed that since atoms existed, then an infinite number of worlds should exist, right? Because an infinite number of atoms exist, and if an infinite amount of worlds exist, then an infinite amount of living beings exist. I don't know how on the nose he was with that one, but we'll get into that later. I'm sure plenty of people theorized about aliens. Honestly, I didn't want to dive too deep into the history of aliens because that's boring. But I do think that we were stunted a lot in the past due to religion. And I'm not saying that religion, I'm not getting into all that, but I am saying that it was blasphemous. It was very dangerous to theorize about aliens or extraterrestrial beings because it could get you like slayed. This idea of extraterrestrial life existing has been around for a long time. Even though we've been aware that the odds of alien life existing are probably high, we have more specific measures now in the modern day that scientists use to determine a closer scope of what those exact odds actually are. So we can understand better the actual probability of alien life existing and not just kind of like, it's probably high, but like, oh, this is a math equation and like I'm calculating it. So there's one astronomer named Frank Drake who created the infamous Drake equation, which calculates the number of possible advanced alien civilizations within our Milky Way that could be able to send us radio signals to potentially communicate. He calculated that there should be around 10,000 advanced civilizations in our Milky Way. This brought about a lot of questions, because if there were 10,000 advanced civilizations within our Milky Way, where are they? Like, where are they? I don't see them. I don't hear them. Spooky stuff, guys. Spooky stuff. This is where I was like not wanting to do any more research, because this is kind of a lot. There are a number of Earth-like exoplanets within the observable universe, which is the amount of the universe that we can observe and radar. There is an abundant amount of Earth-like planets that are within a certain distance from the sun that would make them habitable, from their sun that would make them habitable, and they have the perfect recipe to inhabit life. But where is it? Where is the life? We have been sending out radio waves for almost a century, trying to communicate with anything that could be out there that could pick up these waves, and we haven't heard anything back. Well, this is where the Fermi paradox comes into play. The Fermi paradox is named after an Italian-American physicist. He was wondering during a conversation with some colleagues about UFOs and the existence of aliens if this cosmic ability to produce life is so abundant, then where is it? Where are all the life forms? Where are the aliens? Where's the excitement? Where's the drama? He claimed if interstellar travel is possible, even the slower Earth level of interstellar travel, it would only take around 5 to 50 million years. By the way, that is a huge difference. Like 5 million, 50 million. And that's a huge difference. But anyways, I digress. It would only take like 5 to 50 million years to inhabit the entire galaxy. That is very, very, very brief. So that is a blip according to the geological scale, because remember, life has been on Earth for billions of years. And Earth has been around for even longer, and then our sun has been around for even longer, and then our Milky Way is around for even longer, and then da-da-da-da-da, it'll keep going on. So yes, 5 to 50 million years, relatively short amount of time. There are so many planets that are way older than our planet, and if there are so many planets that could inhabit life that are older than us, why have none colonized the galaxy? It is within a certain scope of possibility according to these scientists. So why hasn't it been done even to the smallest amount? So like I said earlier, we have been sending radio leakage out into the universe for nearly a century, and we haven't heard anything back. So in this journey of trying to communicate with life outside of Earth, we realized it was very inefficient to just send out random signals and just random radio leaks into space. That is just so impractical. Like, if I'm trying to play darts and you're just spinning me and I'm blindfolded and I just throw, I'm gonna throw at you. Like, I'm gonna throw it at your face or something. Like, I'm not gonna hit the bullseye. In order to try to increase the odds of, you know, actually maybe communicating with extraterrestrial life, we decided to narrow down where we would shoot the darts. We would try to first find some indications of life and then shoot the radio leaks in that direction. So they did this narrowing down based on an array of different things, right? But one of the ones that interested me most was one star that they looked at. The light that it would emit fluctuated. Sometimes it would be up to 22% dimmer than its normal state.
Besides its official name, it's also known as Tabby's star, Pelagian star, and WTF star, where in this case WTF stands for where the flux is. It was thought at first that the star might have a large planet, which from time to time blocked some of the light as it passed between the star and Earth. But normally, when exoplanets do this, they dim a star's light by only a small amount, about 1% or less, and at regular intervals. In the case of Tabby's star, the fluctuations are up to 22% and irregular.
This made scientists wonder if the star had something called a megastructure around it, in which when it would rotate in front of the star that we could see, it would make it dim. This is the part that intrigued me, because literally, what is a megastructure? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, let me explain. Megastructures are a theoretical technology that would allow a civilization to harness the power of their sun. This was popularized by theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson. Also, I didn't even know that was a job. No hate though. I love that, but that sounds crazy. Like, theoretical physicist. These megastructures that would harness the power of the sun are called either Dyson spheres or Dyson swarms. The Dyson sphere would be a spherical structure that would encapsulate the sun and rotate around it, and a Dyson swarm would be a conglomerate of many different smaller structures, yet still mega, don't forget that. There is something else called the Kardashev scale. The Kardashev scale was invented by the astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev. According to the Kardashev scale, this Dyson sphere, so achieving a megastructure such as a Dyson sphere, would be categorized as a Type 2 civilization. A Type 1 civilization is able to harness the power of their Earth. Type 2 civilization is able to harness the power of the sun, and the Type 3 civilization has conquered and colonized the whole galaxy. I gotta say, Kardashev seems okay. Like, I can extract the power of the Earth. Okay, I see that. Utilizing the energy from the sun. That doesn't sound too crazy. But then the leap from utilizing the power of the sun to colonizing and conquering the entire galaxy. It just seems like such a farther leap, but go off, I guess. More power to you. So the fixation that astronomers have on extraterrestrials eventually colonizing an entire galaxy is because all planets have an expiration date, shall we say. That is very interesting to me, though. I never even heard of that before in my life. Imagine being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go see my freaking parents and, you know, our neighbor planet. Like, what do you mean? My long distance boyfriend, yeah, we only see each other like every 5 years because he lives on a planet so far away.
But he's the one.
It's also interesting that we theorize this because it seems like way out of touch, because we have analyzed literally thousands of galaxies within the observable universe. I don't even know what that means, y'all. Like, what do you mean? How have we been out of the Milky Way? How do we even observe this stuff? I didn't dive that deep into it because I'm not an astronomer, but we've observed thousands of galaxies, and I guess there has been no sign that any of them have been colonized. Why are we not hearing anything? That leads me to my next segment on theories and conspiracies of why the universe is so quiet. let's explore the theories that scientists have come up with as to why the universe is so lifeless and why we seem to just be completely alone on this little speck. First, we have the zoo theory. The zoo theory speculates that life in fact does exist outside of Earth, even within our own galaxy and even within nearby planets, but that the aliens specifically choose to ignore us. And there are multiple theories as to why the aliens might choose to avoid us entirely. One reason as to why aliens may avoid us is so that we can naturally evolve. It is possible that aliens don't like to intermingle too early because they want us to hit a certain level of advancement before we are able to communicate. I mean, there might be a lot of political turbulence going on in the intergalactic space force and maybe we're just not ready for all of that. Maybe they have crazy spaceships and we are no match for, you know, the drama that ensues. So maybe they just kind of like let us do our thing while we're basically babies. Another reason as to why they might avoid us would be interplanetary contamination, because we are earthlings and so our chemistry is only that of what we know. This one to me is probably like the least plausible, but plausible. I almost said plausible, but then I started saying possible. Anyways, I just want it to be the answer because it's the most comforting to me. It's like, yeah, they're just like letting us do our thing until we're ready to like hear about them. Also, I can't believe this is someone's job to sit around and think about this. How cool. How cool. I wish I was smart. I wish I had big brains so I could do this, but I don't. And who knows, maybe we have a deal with the aliens that they're supposed to be a secret, and us civilians don't know, but higher up people do know. So basically, yes, there are a plethora of reasons as to why the zoo theory could be happening, which is why it's called the zoo theory. It is basically theorizing that they know we're there, but they are mainly just speculating and watching us, and they're not interfering. They're not trying to form a relationship with us. They are like, I don't know, we're just watching. This could also be plausible because maybe there's some intergalactic space force. Me and my intergalactic space force. This could be possible because maybe there is just some greater organization at play that does not allow planets to speak with each other. Next, I'm going to be talking about the Great Filter Theory. This one is a little bit more intense, okay? So buckle up. The Great Filter Theory suggests that the reason the universe is so quiet is because there is nothing there. And there is nothing there because there is some sort of great filter that prevents life from technologically advancing. So you can think of the Great Filter Theory as like a barrier to entry, right? With the Great Filter, you can think of stages of life as possible filters. The Great Filter that next to no life forms make it past could be at any stage of life. So there's the beginning of life called abiogenesis, which happens when non-living matter turns into a living thing.
It happened exactly once. A primitive hunter cell swallowed another cell, but instead of devouring it, the two cells formed a union. The bigger cell provided shelter, took care of interacting with the environment and providing resources, while the smaller one used its new home and free stuff to focus on providing a lot of extra energy for its host. With the abundant energy, the host cell could grow more than before and build new and expensive things to improve itself, while the guest became the powerhouse of the cell. These cells make up every animal on the planet.
This happened after the Earth existed for billions of years, right? And it happened, as far as we know, one time. And that is what triggered all of life. So that could be the great filter. We don't know. It could be a plethora of things. It could be because of technological advancement. It could be due to pollution, climate change, overpopulation, disease. There are many things that could go wrong, and it is possible that it is extremely rare for any intelligent life to live and reach a certain caliber of advancement. And in that case, yeah, we might not have much time left. A lot of the sources I was looking at were like,
oh, it's terrible if it's in front of us.
But I'm like, I don't know. If it's behind us, that means like it's so rare for intelligent life to exist. And for me, that is more scary. Like, I would rather have intelligent life be more abundant, but maybe not as long, like, you know? And then there was also another theory that stemmed off of the zoo theory, which I'm going to talk about briefly, called the laboratory theory, which would be that we don't know that they're there, but they know that we're here. It would be a lot more sinister, though. It would entail them knowing we're here, but purposefully trying to hide it in order to conduct experiments on us. Now, if that is true, then it would make our next segment a lot less confusing. So although scientists have claimed they have heard and seen nothing in the universe around us, a lot of civilians have claimed they've seen aliens here on Earth. Silence in the universe, chaos on Earth. I found one really crazy story from a pilot named Carlos de los Santos that I found super interesting and bizarre. On May 3rd in 1975, Carlos was driving a small plane in Zihuatanejo, Mexico. It was a nice sunny day. He was cruising, having a good time. He just dropped off some people. I guess he was like a private pilot. It was like a private plane, I guess. I don't know. They had money. He was just enjoying his life. When all of a sudden, 2 flying saucers come up from behind him and go underneath one of each wing. So like both of his wings had one flying saucer underneath each. He was like,
literally, what the heck?
After he noticed these 2 flying saucers on both sides of his wings, there was one flying saucer that came from in front of him, zoomed from in front of him, underneath his plane, and hit the bottom of his plane. When the flying saucers went under his plane, they started elevating him up to 3,000 meters, which I guess is like peak altitude for planes. He stayed there for so long, and he was panicking, and he actually ended up radioing the towers and saying, "Mayday, Mayday, what is happening?" After this was going on for a while, the saucers, the UFOs, suddenly just shoot off in all different directions and just literally disappear. So after this, Carlos is shook, right? He's completely shooketh, and he's wondering what on earth just freaking happened, but he couldn't really think about it, right? Because he had a plane to land. He was still in the sky. So he goes to the airport. He goes to land his plane, and what does he notice when he tries to land? He notices that his landing gear is completely jammed and will not unlock, okay? His loading gear will not come down, and he had to fly around the airport about 10 times before he was able to figure it out and finally get his landing gear unjammed with a screwdriver. That must have been terrifying for him. This could have really gotten somebody in trouble. It could have gotten your license revoked and your name could have been completely tarnished because people would probably just think that you're crazy, right? But luckily for him, the air traffic control was able to track the unidentified objects. So there was something there that day, and we know that for sure. And that's not even the only crazy part. De Los Santos claimed to be visited by multiple creepy looking men at various points after this incident. One time he was approached was before he had an interview scheduled. The interview was supposed to be about his experience, and the second time he was approached, he was actually meant to meet up later with a UFO investigator. He claimed that the men were tall and pale-skinned, very similar to a lot of people's claims and descriptions of Men in Black. And Carlos isn't alone. One really specific place that has a lot of alien encounters is a place called Juneau, Alaska, which lies within a bigger area called the Alaskan Triangle, which is a 32,000 square foot triangle where over 16,000 people have completely gone missing, have vanished. There are reports of roughly 100 UFO sightings each year in this Alaskan triangle. If you are curious about UFO sightings, the Alaskan Triangle is a great place to start. All of this is super crazy. I don't know what to make of it. The science, the probabilities of them existing, the amount of encounters that have taken place on Earth. I think that it is all very interesting to think about, and I hope that you learned something in this video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I truly am sorry. If you made it this far into the video, honestly, I love you. I cannot believe that you're still here. Thank you so much. I put a lot of effort into these videos. I will hopefully have a video up next week. I might change my schedule to once a week or once every other week if I'm doing something more intricate, like an I'm Curious video, because they take a lot of research and time to put together. So I appreciate your patience if you are okay with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.